So today I'm doing a kind of reacting to recap manhwa. This is on part one. She married the beastly duke, but she didn't know he fell in love with her at first sight. So I searched this up. It's called Married to a Duke Called Beast, but there's also like different names to it. I got married to, I got married to a beastly duke. I got married to a duke called Beast. I got married to a duke named Beast. There were like so many different names to it. And then the one that I got from here, it says that I married to a peacock named Beast. That is a weird ass name, and that was valid. That's how I got this. I was like, what name? But the one that I think that most people, if you want to find this, is, if you can see it, is Married to a Duke Called Beast. I think you need to flip that, but that's the one you should search for if you can't find the one called I Was Married to a Peacock Named Beast. That is like the bizarrest name of a manhwa ever. A peacock named Beast. Who names the person Beast? And why is he a peacock? What is going on with this manhwa? This is a very weird title. I want to know. And because technically I'm not allowed to directly read manhwa, I've done that before. My video blocked. Bad idea. If you want to do this, don't do that. Bad idea. So check this channel out. I wanna know. This one, it only has like 30 chapters now, and it recently just updated chapter 30, so they're not in hiatus. It's practically new. Only has 30 chapters. I want to read the summary. So the summary says, Duke Station, with his vast estate and immense wealth, proposed to me. What? That just random. What? That's in the summary. That's literally two sentences in. Proposed to me. Why did he propose to me? Exactly. I'm the daughter of a noble family with no fifth, bearing only the name. In addition to that, there was a terrible rumor coming from the capital. Duke Station is the beast without blood or tears. That's kind of confusing summary, but I'm not gonna lie. But hopefully this video will clear things up and actually get into our first chapter. Let us start. I'm excited. It sounds hella like fun. A peacock beast. Great
The
name.
story
They should
begins
have
about
named
Duke
it.
Luke Staten, a man known by his surname from a young age. Who possesses
Oh.
prestige and wealth. There were always ugly rumors around him. Duke Staten was a
It
beast
always
without
starts off
blood
like
or
that.
tears, and that day, Nadia had become the beast's bride. At the Duchy of Staten,
So sudden. So like she didn't even contemplate it. Even in the summary, he wanted to marry me, so I'm gonna marry him. I think they're gonna get into that further on. But
it
so
was their wedding
sudden.
night. Nadia felt dizzy and
I
her
think I'm
eyes
gonna have to
trembled
read this.
because she was worried to faint on her first night with the Duke. And it will be a great insult for her family. The more she thought about it, the more she wanted to faint. Nadia tried to think as bright and happy as possible. For example, fondant
That's our
chocolate dripping
girl.
with
I
rich
already know
chocolate,
that's our girl.
freshly made white bread with a fragrant smell,
It's love.
crunchy cookies, etc. Nadia thought on why on earth did the Duke of Staten propose to a woman from a baron family. There was no way the baron would refuse the Duke's marriage proposal. If she had a suitable excuse, she would have made it. But Nadia didn't have a fiancé, like the typical one. Nadia's family truly loved and cherished her. However, the opponent was too bad for her to dare to show courage. And the Duke, who always followed with
I see. I think from the title itself, she married the beastly duke, but she didn't know that he fell in love with her at first sight. I'm guessing they met early on, like before this. Only he remembers, but she doesn't yet. Further on, they probably, remember something clicks in her head. I'm like, oh my god, I know you. It always goes down like that.
scandalous rumors, chose someone like her whom she had never met. Even at the wedding ceremony, Nadia didn't make eye contact with him because she was nervous.
Is that our male lead? Lies. Absolute lies.
Nadia couldn't bear to look back. Behind her stood her husband whom she married that day. There was no use for her to run, and there was nowhere to run. Clasped her hand. She didn't want to tremble, but no matter how hard she tried, Her whole body shook like an aspen.
Again.
Don't faint, don't
Stay
scream,
calm.
stay
Stay
calm, she
calm.
consoled herself in her thoughts. Her husband seems to wait silently for Nadia without urging her. Nadia squeezed her courage and slowly turned around on her back. Nadia blinked her big eyes.
With that
She felt glad he
crazy.
was tolerating her frustrating behavior. The candle flickered. He saw the men's figure in a little more detail. What did the rumor say? A beast with bushy hair and over 2 meters tall. Suddenly, lightning flashed and brightened the room.
That's the best hair. He reminds me of typical romance. Do you know the manhwa? Absolutely. Just the difference of like a male lead. I enjoy like having a different look to our male lead. I hope he keeps the hair, man. Come on, please do this for me. Wait, let me see the front cover. Actually, I didn't really look at it in great detail. Okay. It's not actually showing his face much. Can you see it? Yeah, it's not showing his face much. Just her in shock and him in the back. Hopefully he keeps his hair. Oh my god, like, it's adorable. Keep it. He
He's
looks
a beast.
special.
The
So
first thing that
special.
caught her eye was a chin covered in black beard. The intimidation was
Just
doubled by
cut
the
his
large
hair a
height and
bit.
sharply torn, fierce eyes. Nadia
Although the
couldn't help
beard
but
doesn't suit
scream this
him that
time.
much.
She suddenly got
He
hiccups.
looks
She
cute.
couldn't hold back
He
the
looks
hiccups.
cute.
She didn't
He's
have
like
the
a bear.
ladylike demeanor her mother had
Oh my
emphasized.
god.
It didn't matter at that time. Her big green eyes trembled. Her tears welled up.
She's adorable.
The man
The
didn't
art is
say anything,
great.
but that put more pressure on Nadia. She felt she humiliated herself in front of him. She's wary if he is angry. She was worried she dared to have hiccups in front of him and might harm her parents for marrying off their daughter. When she mustered up the courage to
Did
raise
she
her eyes,
perhaps made a
their
promise
eyes
to
met
him that
directly.
they'd get married when
The
they grow
Duke's
up or
gaze
something?
was warm. Nadia thought of running away, but also was scared to do so. But looking at the Duke's reaction, Nadia saw he was saying
I think
something.
he's also
A
scared
bottle
of
of
her.
wine fell and was about to hit Nadia. Behind
Save
you,
her.
the Duke said in a loud voice. Nadia turned
Behind
her
you!
head and saw the bottle of wine which was about to hit her. The Duke rushed towards her and caught the bottle quickly with his right hand while holding Nadia's body with his left hand. Their eyes met very closely. From the Duke's perspective, Nadia looks very beautiful and like an angel.
Of course,
However,
it's a
from
female
Nadia's
lead.
perspective, the Duke
Gorgeous.
looks
Always
terrifying like
gorgeous,
a
no matter
beast
her.
with sharply torn, fierce eyes.
That's
Nadia couldn't
sexy.
bear it any
That's so
longer. She
sexy.
screamed and fainted from fear and tension. The people who happened to be nearby heard the
My
scream.
girl.
What was that? Jade Allen, Staten Palace butler, asked.
Even the butler looks good. What
I
the
faced
hell?
countless failures.
And you're really not experienced, goddammit! I can't. This is good. I like it. I like the art.
Mr. Allen. The Duchess' screams came from the room. One of the servants answered. Jade
Mr.
rushed to the
Allen.
room and knocked on the door. When the door opened, Jade was surprised with what he saw. If anyone can see, it's a suspicious case. Duke, are you making your wife faint from your first day? Jade asked. It's not because of me, the Duke replied while putting Nadia to her bed. Then he told Jade
So
to go out and
why?
talk to him first. Duke Staten explained to his aide what
It's
happened.
very awkward.
Jade responded that he actually understood the Duchess' position because she got married to a man whose name she only had ever heard of, and since it was the Grand Duke, there
So
must have been a lot of pressure
rude.
on her.
Although you're handsome
However, she
too,
still fainted and
back
thought
off
maybe it was
now.
due to the Duke's influence. I
This
never
is
tried
their
to scare her, Luke
relationship.
said, lifting his head and banging his desk. Then a flash of scenes came into his mind. He calmed down a bit and asked,
They
Jade,
did meet.
am I that scary? Although Luke wasn't born that
Sure.
way, Luke was left alone at a young age. His mother was kidnapped by the rebels and the Duke Staten tried to save her. Since he was the only one left to be the remaining heir, Luke Richard Staten had a rougher and more
He's handsome
ferocious
under that
soul than
beard.
anyone
He's
else.
actually handsome with
Although
the
he was a
beard.
great nobleman, he was trained like an ordinary soldier covered in dirt. This was due to the influence of his grandfather, who was very strict about his grandson's education. Since he was a child, he grew up among soldiers. His
curly
raven
hair.
black hair
I
and bushy
enjoy.
beard covering his face made it impossible to guess his age, and
I
his
like
low
it
deep
because
voice sounded like that of a demon.
you know why I like different characters? It's just like you differentiate like a lot of them because sometimes they kind of blend to each other and then you forget them quickly. So when you have a specific like build on a character, it's like you know them and you remember them more fondly. Also, they kind of look a lot older because a lot of them look like they're children and it kind of freaks me out. The beard, it's a nice touch on it.
From hell. Duke, are you looking for an assessment about
Writers,
this?
please!
Jade asked. Yes, and feel free to answer honestly, the Duke replied. Surely you look like a bear standing on its feet.
That's
Jade
cute!
answered, then he
That's so
paused. His creed to say only the right
If you
things
don't
even
want it,
if the
I'll
knife was at
get
his
one.
throat sometimes
Why are
wavered in the face
people
of Luke's
so
murder.
picky?
Hey,
Jeez.
didn't you say feel free to answer honestly? Jade explained. Maybe you
Funny.
don't look like a bear. You look like a wild animal, Jade added. Luke
Gorilla
snorted and rubbed his
and the
chin and said,
princess.
I don't care what others see, but I don't want to be considered a monster by my wife. Jade now realized how serious the situation was. Let me help you, Your Highness, Jade exclaimed. Jade was very
A
popular
man
among the
who is
girls in his
popular with
village. Maybe there's a solution. First let me ask you a few questions,
he doesn't
Jade said.
understand anything.
What
What
kind
we
of
want
person
is
is the Duchess?
him.
He asked. Well, there must have been some interaction before you propose.
Don't shave it. If he's
A heavy
shaving, I'm gonna
silence
kill him.
followed.
I'm
Jade
gonna stab
decided to
this
lower the
man.
level of his questions. You know her name, right?
See?
Jade asked again. Nadia Masha Staden, he
Funny.
replied. The fact that Luke
How
only
could
knew
she
her name but did not
confuse
answer what he likes about the Duchess, how they met, and what they talk about so far. Jade spoke bluntly, risking his death.
Slowly
Isn't this
sneak into
almost a
her
kidnapping?
life.
He said. And one more thing. You never actually had a single conversation with the Duchess. How embarrassed
That's
must the
true.
Duchess be? And if it continues to happen, she will faint every time, Jade added.
Mm.
There
Maybe
was
you
no
should like
time. I couldn't
letters
stay in the
first.
capital for long, Luke said.
Mm.
Let go with the regular method first.
Letters.
Why don't you
Like
approach
sweet
her
letters.
slowly, like inviting your wife for dinner, Jade said. Give her something
Good
she likes
idea.
as a gift, and if you talk to her in a
No,
friendly
he's
way,
shaving.
she will definitely open up with you. Luke groaned and touched his forehead. Just thinking about the scene of him eating with Nadia made him feel
I
like
would be
his
hella
body
mad
was
if he
stiff
did
with
shave it.
tension. I will trust you only once, Luke replied. First, call a barber to cut your beard, Jade said. Luke didn't answer. He
I
looked at his
did
wedding
it.
ring and thought sorry for
I
himself.
came into
He
this.
didn't expect to be accepted as soon as he possessed her. He thought he should have not listened to Leonard. 3 months ago, at Le Monstrode, the capital, Luke was irritated because his
Please
head was
don't shave
pounding.
it.
Is it because of
Oh,
alcohol? It's strange I am completely fine even after drinking together, says Leonard
a good
Modrier,
looking
the
guy.
crown prince of the
But the
empire.
beard.
Are you a monster?
Oh!
Luke said. That's rude. The alcohol
Although
is
it
just a
does
little
look
strong,
fake,
the
I
prince
love
replied.
it.
As the
Absolutely
days go
love
by,
it,
you
my
look even more
dear.
brutal, Leonard added. What?
And the beard!
Luke narrowed his eyes and
Don't
glanced at
shave!
Leonard.
Don't
Luke and
shave!
Leonard grew up together in the capital. Since Luke went to live in the duchy, he became a completely different person.
Well, he's
Do you
just
have any
technically only.
intention
Can
of
I
coming
have
back here
him?
again?
Can I
Leonard
have
asked.
Prince
Luke wanted to return to his territory as
King?
soon as possible. Please let me go back now. There was nothing to do here anyway, he said. If you come back, you won't get back in touch with me again, right? Aren't you always attending the National Foundation Day? Don't you want to even celebrate my birthday? Even though I'm your only friend, the Crown Prince explained.
Wow.
Luke thought he
Male
felt like he
leads
wanted to scream
literally
and
only
ask
have
what
one
was so
friend.
special
Why
about
is
Leonard's
that?
birthday. But he can't say
Why?
it to the prince. Although Luke never offered his personal loyalty to the prince, he was a
Okay.
duke of the empire and was obliged to serve.
He just looks good in
Leonard
black and
often
black.
used this
With the
hierarchical
beard.
relationship to
So
annoy Luke.
furry.
Leonard asked why he couldn't stay. Although the duchy is rich, it is not as good as the
He looks
capital.
cute and all.
I'm not interested,
But
Luke
everybody looks at
answered.
him.
Isn't it boring being stuck in the
Anyway.
countryside at this young age? Don't you even think about getting married? Leonard asked. Are you trying to act as my parents now? Luke exclaimed. No, I'm asking because I'm really curious. I also have a fiancé and I think we'll get married soon, Leonard said.
Then why does he
You
have
have
to
no
have a
reason not to
fiance?
do this. I'll take care of it. There is a nice woman among my fiancé's friends, Leonard added. Luke's patience was running out. Then he said, the Duke of Staten will not disobey the imperial family even if he is not summoned to confirm his loyalty. The Duchy of Staten is a fiefdom of the empire and will always respond to his majesty's
So the
call.
prince chose
Don't be anxious.
who to
Staten is
marry to
not a
him
threat to
with?
the imperial family. Leonard said nothing. His handsome face was as cold and hard as ice. The moment he saw Luke's
Shut up!
face, he knew he made a mistake. Luke ended up pointing out something that didn't need to be said, but it wasn't like he said anything offensive. The capital, Le Monstrode, is a place as fragile as a flower. At the banquet every night, his senses become dull and when he looks at the nobles, he doesn't even match the minimum.
Tell our
If he
female
stays for
lead.
too long, he might really lose his mind. Luke was struggling with a hangover that still hadn't gone away. And after walking around, he ended up lying down on the grass in a park. A noble lady
This is
who
our
was elegantly taking a walk
This
wearing
is
a
when our
parasol
female lead
screamed when she
comes,
saw
I
Luke,
think.
whose face looked indistinguishable from whether it was a bear or human. Luke thought if someone reports it, all he has to do is reveal his identity. He couldn't be bothered to think anymore. Luke lay down looking at the sky and closed his eyes. Meanwhile, a sweet voice
Hey.
woke him up. Excuse me, are you okay? Do you need help? The lady asked. Luke
Wait, how
opened his
did she
eyes.
not
The
remember
bright
it?
sunlight stung his
This?
eyes.
You
As he
know
groaned and
about
rubbed his
this?
eyes, a kind voice
How?
spoke to him
And it
again.
wasn't
You
that
must be really
long,
sick.
too.
Sister,
And
should
you
I call the
never do
doctor?
this. This is
Stop,
my
Nadia.
girl,
Please let's
please.
just go,
He doesn't look
says the other
any
lady.
different.
How can I do that? I
This
can't leave him
cannot be.
carelessly. He needs help. Luke was listening to the conversation with his eyes covered.
You can't have it there! Wait, I knew. No, continue. Shush!
And welcome back to
Shush!
this US Open.
Why does this always happen? Why do you do this to me? When it was getting good, getting juicy, you do this to me? You end it there? Thanks. Thank you so much. Tell me if you want me to continue this, or I might just read it on my own, because god damn it. It has 30 chapters. I'm gonna have to calm myself down. Seriously. I hope you all enjoyed this. Tell me in the comments below if you read this or are you planning to. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!